Welcome to Paranormal Nightshift, your home for all things that go bump in the dark and your fan stories told here. We've all heard stories of haunted hotels, but what if you had to clock in to a haunted hotel every day? Today's story comes from Anonymous, for obvious reasons, but that was their nightmare. The place of their employment, the place of their income, the place that they had to go every day was one of the most haunted places in the world. I started working at the Claremont Resort and Spa in Beverly Hills, California in early 2000, I believe. I remember during my orientation that the tour guide kept reiterating that the hotel wasn't haunted. Regardless of what we had heard, regardless of all the rumors, the hotel wasn't haunted. Well, all of us on the onboarding thought this was a little weird because none of us had even asked. But it was time for the tour. We got up to the 4th floor, and I remember that the moment that the elevator door opened, it just felt off. Like 1,000 eyes staring at me, and we hadn't even gone into the hallway. And this was at 10 a.m. Imagine what it started to feel like later that day. But again, kept reiterating, absolutely not haunted. Absolutely not haunted. You guys don't believe the stories. It's not haunted. Now, I was going to have to work night shift, so I came back in that night at 10 p.m., and I met Phil. Phil was the graveyard shift manager. He had started years ago in loss prevention, the same job that I had just taken. And Phil, again, wanted to take me on the tour himself. But again, he kept reiterating, this place isn't haunted. No matter what you hear, you didn't hear it. No matter what you think you saw, you didn't see it. Just remember, this place isn't haunted. Well, this made me feel even more uncomfortable. I hadn't asked the question yet. Why is everyone telling us that it's not haunted? First place we go is the kitchen, and he reiterates to me, make sure that the doors are locked. This door is to remain locked all the time after 10 p.m. Otherwise, our guest will walk right into the kitchen. Make sure that the door stays locked. We walked into the closed and emptied kitchen, and a swinging door was propped open. The door was propped open with the door stopped, just like Phil had told me not to do. Phil bends down to open the doorstop, and it goes flying across the room. Now, these are like old doors, like swinging doors that you would see at the Wild Wild West OK Corral. The door starts swinging back and forth violently. I scream, and I hear something in the kitchen screaming, like a man being tormented, like he was just being beaten. Phil stops me as I'm trying to enter and looks me dead in the eyes and says, okay, screw it. This place is completely haunted. Later after that, and I was getting off shift, after I'd seen other encounters, and Phil told me about all the history, my friend that I had made during orientation was about to clock in. She looked at me and I looked at her and we both laughed. Oh, this place is definitely haunted. She said the same thing. I've worked here for almost 20 years now. I see things all the time. But this is the only hotel that I've ever worked at, and it feels like home. I guess the ghosts make it their home too. So, I guess the moral of the story is, no matter what your employer tells you, always think for yourself. And this place is totally haunted.